Okay, and so now all we have left to talk about is writing an actual proof. And so we know how to start every proof. We have to put the given. So we know the given here, R is parallel to S, and angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. And of course, my reason is going to be given. Now, the nice thing about these proofs is they number our angles for us, so we know what angles we need to be talking about. I know R is parallel to S, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight those two lines, that these two are my parallel lines. I know angle 1 is congruent to angle 3, and that's going to help me out in a minute. But what we need to do, being that we're talking about our 4 special types of angles, I want to see between these two parallel lines what special type of angles I have, because that's the direction we're going to be going with all these parallel lines. Well, we talked about earlier how we know which angles to pair together. You need to look at the two that are connected by a line that's not a parallel line. So we look, well, are 3 and 2 connected with a line that's not parallel, or 1 and 2? And so what I see, 1 and 2, this line Q is not one of my highlighted lines. So 1 and 2 are my ones that I should know are related. If I look at angle 1 and 2, they should both be acute, which tells me that they are congruent. So my statement's going to be that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. Now what I need to do is look and see what type of angles they were. So if I trace the angle 2 and I trace the angle 1, I see that these angles made an F. And so because they made an F, I know that these angles are corresponding. So I'm just going to go ahead and abbreviate CORR for corresponding. And we're just going to put corresponding angles theorem, because this is not the converse, because I am not showing that the lines are parallel yet. This is just saying the angles are congruent. Now, after this, sometimes I like to work my way backwards, so I'm going to go ahead and put my prove as the last statement, so that P is parallel to Q. But please remember, the reason is not ever going to be prove. We'll get to that reason in a minute. So what I started with, I said these are the 3 angles we need to look at. I've already paired 1 with 3, and I've paired 1 with 2. So we need to think about the only pair of angles we have not paired together, which would be angle 2 and 3. So if I look at angle 2 and 3, those again are both acute, which would tell me that they are congruent. So I'm going to write down that angle 2 is congruent to angle 3. Now this time, because I do not know that my P is parallel to Q, I cannot write down the special type of angles they are. But what I will do, since I know 3 and 2 are both congruent to 1, then I will write down, I just plugged it in, and so that's going to be substitution. The last reason that I know that my line P and Q are parallel is I need to look and see what they formed, because this is the new thing in this section. If I trace those, 3 and 2 make a Z, and I know my angles that make a Z are called alternate interior angles. So I'm just going to abbreviate that, alternate interior. And because this statement says that my 2 lines are parallel, it's not going to be the alternate interior angle theorem. It'll be alternate interior angle converse, because you always write converse when you're trying to show that your lines are parallel. And that would be your proof.